Hello, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we will discuss about a method of DB2 SQL which is concat. So for that, I have already created one table. First of all, we will see the requirement, like in which scenario we are supposed to use that function, and then we will see like how we can use it inside a SQLRPGLE program. Okay, so let's jump to the second session where I will show you the table data. So I'm running one query here. Select star from Sharmit 1, which is my library name, slash emp, which is employee table. So if I hit enter on this query, it's let me change the library name. It's Sharmit 1 slash emp. Yeah. So if I hit enter on this query, it will show this data. So what we have stored here, we have created one column as first name, then last name, then age, salary, and country. Okay, so this is the data that we have in our table. Now suppose in SQL RPGLE you want the name but full name, not the first name and last name. So in that case, what we can use, we can use concat method. So what can concat method will do, it will combine this first name with this last name column. Okay, and it will give the result as complete name, full name. Okay, let's say if I talk about this name Michael Johnson, so right now Michael is the first name and Johnson is the second name, but if requirement is that like we want to fetch this name as Michael space Johnson, so how we can retrieve that? So for that purpose we will use concat method. So let's quickly go to the program where I have used this method and we'll discuss how we can use it. Okay, so I'll show you. So here what we are doing, firstly we are declaring one constant. So constant name is SQL state underscore valid 5 times zeros. This we will use to verify the query. Then we have one variable as full name varchar 30. So this variable I have created just to store the retrieved output. Okay. Then we are setting the commitment control as star none. It is not needed here because we are just reading the data, but still I would suggest you to keep this line in every SQL program so that whenever you are updating or modifying anything, it will not affect your code. Okay, now look at the main query. So this is the query that we can use to concat two columns, and we can retrieve the name as full name. So for that you just need to write exec SQL, then select, and this is the method concat, concat, parenthesis. Here you can pass your first name, means the first variable, so I'm passing it as first name, then comma, then last name. Okay, one more thing, let's say if you want to combine any string, let's say I have abc and xyz. So if you want to combine this as a direct value, means you don't want to pass any variable, you want to pass the value, then you can pass like this. Okay, so in place of first name you can write abc inside a quote, and in place of last name you can put xyz in place of this last name variable. Okay, fine. So but for now we are just doing it on the table column, which is first name and last name. So it will concat this thing, then as a result, so it will be considered as a result into, and this is a host variable. We have not discussed it before. Host variable means the variable which is going to store the retrieved output that we are getting from the SQL query, right? So how we can identify it? It is started with this colon. So if colon is there, then it means it will fetch the data coming from the SQL query. So what we are doing, we are concatenating first name with last name and then result as a result, and then we are storing it inside a full name variable from emp table. Now you can see there are multiple records, right? And we don't want to fetch it for all records. So what we can do, we can mention it here, fetch first row only, not all row, fetch first row. Okay, so it will fetch only the first row, and for the first row it will perform this concat operation. Once this query is executed, we will verify. If query is okay, then we will print full name, else we will print the SQL state along with the error message, query ended with an error. So this is the one scenario. But here you can see we are not attaching or concatenating any space here. So how it will show the name? It, let's say if we talk about this, so it will show like JOHAN then continuously it will print DOE, which is last name, John Doe, right? But usually how we write the name, first name, then space, then last name. So how to do that? So for that purpose, like this is the one scenario where we are just concatenating it without space. Now look at the second scenario. In second scenario, let's say we want a space. So what we will do, we will use this concat 2 times. So this is a kind of trick. Okay. So how we are doing here, select concat. This is my outer concat method. And inside that, what I'm doing, I'm concatenating the first name with space. So as I told you, you can directly pass your value here, hard coded value also, right? So I'm passing it as space. So what it will do, internal concat method, it will concat the first name with a space, and whatever the output it will provide will be concatenated with last name. So by this, what will happen, John will be concatenated with space, single space, and then John and space will be concatenated with the Doe, which is the last name. Okay, so this is how it will perform the concat operation, and then we will store it as a full name inside a variable full name. Same thing here also, from EMP table fetch first row only. Once this query is executed, we will verify if SQL state is okay, then we will print the full name, else we will print the SQL state query ended with an error and ILR equals to star on. So let's quickly save this program and compile it. It is compiled successfully. Now I am calling this. So first output we are getting as John Doe, but there is no space. So this is the result of first scenario. Now if I hit enter, this is the second scenario result, which is John space Doe. So as per your requirement, you can fetch any of the form from the table, but overall concat functionality is to concatenate the two string together. Okay, let's say instead of space I want to separate it out with some dollar symbol. So what I will do, let me show you in program. So what I will do in that situation, instead of passing space, I will simply go and make it as dollar. So what it will do, it will concatenate the first name with dollar, then first name and dollar will be concatenated with last name, because this is the internal concat method, which is basically concatenating just with a space or whatever the value you are passing here, and then whatever the output we are getting for this will be concatenated with the last name in outer concat method. Okay, so yeah, this is all about this concat method. This is mainly used to concatenate two columns, and it is not like that we have to concatenate only these things. You can concatenate any other thing also as per your requirement. So yeah, that's all for this session. I hope it is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.